Hi, my name is Barb Nangle. I'm the founder of Higher Power Coaching and Consulting. I want to welcome you to my podcast, Fragmented to Whole, Life Lessons from 12-Step Recovery. I've put things together about my journey in recovery in this new way, and I feel the need to share it here. It used to be that I would go to the world to meet my needs for things like validation, love, and acceptance. And I also wanted the world to adapt to my ideas of how it should run. People, places, and things should conform to my ideas of the world. One of the first things someone said to me very early in recovery was, "Barb, the world was not created to meet your needs." Now, I had no fucking idea what that meant. And for probably 2 years, I had a sticky note with that saying on it sitting on my coffee table so that I could look at it all the time and try to make sense of it. Now I understand it deeply. I was going to the world to meet my needs, and because I wasn't getting my needs met because the world wasn't created to meet my needs, I was full of anger and frustration at the world, and I spewed my shit out onto the world. Anger, frustration, blame, self-abandonment. Now, I don't mean to say that I never did anything good and kind. I was a pretty decent person before recovery, but I was also really fucking angry and frustrated at the world a lot of the time, but I kept that all to myself. In fact, in thinking back, I think I sort of kept it from myself because I've always been quite the optimist. I really didn't know how much anger and frustration I had until it was gone. What happened when I came into recovery is that I did the 12 steps very early on and was able to clean up the wreckage of the past. And I learned how to manage my life going forward because I really wasn't taught how to maturely manage my life. Now, all the steps are important, of course, but where I was able to let go of the anger and the frustration, etc., was steps 4 through 9. In step 4, I did an inventory. I took a searching and fearless moral inventory of my life to figure out what the fuck I had been doing my whole life to either create problems or exacerbate the problems that were going on around me. Then in step 5, I shared that list with myself, my higher power, and at least another person. And that was a way for me to get rid of secrets and carried shame. Then in step 6, I became entirely ready to have my defects of character removed. In other words, I really thought through what it would mean, what it would look like for me to no longer act out of those defects of character. I really thought that through and wrote out at the instruction of my sponsor what it would look like for me to no longer do those things. Then in step 7, I humbly asked my higher power to remove my shortcomings, and miraculously, many of them have been entirely lifted. I still have some left over and I work on them every day, but a lot of my defects have been entirely removed. I have been profoundly changed by the 12 steps. Then in step 8, I made a list of people that I had harmed and I became willing to make amends to them all. And in step 9, I made direct amends, except when to do so would harm them or others. And I'm included in those, quote, others. If it would put me in harm's way to make amends directly to someone, then I made some sort of indirect amends, but I did make amends. What this means is I took full responsibility for my actions. I was no longer blaming the world, the people around me, my family, or anyone else. And the result of all of that is that the shit that I had been spewing out of me was no longer there. I am now emptied of all that crap, or at least the vast majority of it. And now I have peace and serenity. I'm happy, joyous, and free, which means I'm no longer looking to the world to meet my needs. I now understand it is up to me to meet my needs. I have a quote on the mirror in my bathroom, and it says, "It is a delusion that the outside world could give us satisfaction if only things went our way." In other words, it's not the outside world that's going to get me the things I want and need. It's my internal world that will do that. It's how I treat myself that matters. And it's my relationship with my higher power that matters. Those are the things that are going to really transform my life. Well, they already have, and they continue to do so. So now, instead of trying to go to the world to get my needs met, I now go to the world to give. And I am able to give instead of take, and not in some codependent way like I used to. I now give from a genuine place of caring, because I have this love, this happiness, this joy, peace, and serenity inside of me. And I'm able to create more and more and more of it because of my newfound relationship with myself and my higher power. By continuing to do steps 10, 11, and 12 every single day. That's what enables me to keep doing that. So I can go to the world and give to the world, and I can be of service to God and my fellows, which is my purpose here on earth, to be of service to my higher power and my fellows. I hope that hearing this incredibly brief version of what it was like for Barb to go through the 12 steps and how I understand that journey has been helpful to you. And I hope it's helpful for you to hear it laid out like this. And if you haven't made it all the way through the steps and had the kind of experience I have, I hope you'll keep going, or maybe you'll go back and do them again. It's true that the 12 steps are not necessarily for everybody, but they are for me, because I tried so many things before recovery, and they got me a little bit of growth and a little bit of change here and there. But what I like about the 12 steps is that it's basically a formula for living. Not only did it help me go back and clean up the wreckage of the past, it also helps me in my day-to-day life for how to manage my life. If I have a really sticky problem, I use the 12-stepping problem formula I was taught, and 100% of the time it helps me through things, no matter how difficult they may seem. The 12 steps are an incredibly thorough process, and they worked for me. That's it for today. If you like what you've heard here, then you just might be interested in private coaching with me. If that sounds like you, head on over to my website, which is higherpowercoachingandconsulting.com, and click on the contact menu. I'd be happy to schedule a consultation with you to help you make lasting changes in your life, like I've made deep, lasting changes in my life. My ideal client is someone who is ripe for change, but I'll coach anyone who wants to be happy, joyous, and free. So if that's you, shoot me an email. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe so you can be sure to get future episodes of my podcast. Thanks again.